nursing home deaths of 8 residents, 145 people evacuated, and details that are hard to hear.
We're also learning more about the victims, including one resident who died 1 month shy of her 100th birthday. We have live Team 7 coverage ahead.
Days after Hurricane Irma lashed the Florida Keys, Navy ships are waiting in the wings to aid in the search and rescue operations.
And President Donald Trump in Southwest Florida and getting a first-hand look at people affected by Hurricane Irma. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Lynn Martinez.
And I'm Jeff Lennox. 7 News at 4 starts now.
This is 7 News, first at 4.
First here at 4 o'clock, new details in the nursing home horror that shocked the nation. A lack of sufficient air conditioning may be the reason 8 lives ended. Hello and welcome, everybody. A criminal investigation is underway following this shocking and horrific chain of events.
Yeah, from the victims to the investigation, we are working it all for you today. 7's Jessica Holly begins our team coverage in Hollywood at that facility. Jessica.
And police were here all morning investigating, and just a few minutes ago this afternoon, we learned what the staff at Memorial Regional Hospital found when they went to this center Wednesday morning.
The Hollywood Police Department has been granted a search warrant for this property, and officers are on scene continuing their criminal investigation.
Hollywood police officers searched the rehabilitation center at Hollywood Hills, where a nightmare unfolded in the wake of Hurricane Irma.
The facility had some power. However, the building's air conditioning system was not fully functional.
8 people died, one of them on Tuesday, a day before the crisis here was exposed. Wednesday morning, 145 residents were evacuated. All have since been admitted to the hospital or transferred to another nursing home. Meanwhile, Governor Rick Scott directed the Agency for Healthcare Administration to issue an emergency moratorium for the center.
This immediately prevents the facility from taking any new patients or any patients until it is lifted.
In a statement, the nursing home administrator, George Carballo, insists the center was well prepared for the storm and addressed the issue with the air conditioner. Staff set up mobile cooling units and fans to cool the facility. Our staff continually checked on our residents' well-being, our most important concern to ensure they were hydrated and as comfortable as possible. But according to officials with Memorial Regional Hospital located next door, some of the residents transferred there were suffering from respiratory distress, dehydration, and other issues related to the heat. The big question is, why didn't someone take action sooner?
We know that's an important issue for people, and we don't have a definitive on that right now.
The statement from the nursing home administrator concluded with this: we are devastated by these losses. We are fully cooperating with all authorities and regulators to assess what went wrong and to ensure our other residents are cared for. And this afternoon, Memorial Regional Hospital held a news conference. Staff members telling us that when they arrived at the center to check things out, they saw patients in distress, in very bad shape, some of them with extremely high temperatures. We're going to hear more from them coming up on 7 News at 5. For now, we're live in Hollywood. Jessica Holly, 7 News.
All right, Jessica, thank you. We're also learning a lot more about the victims. The oldest was only 1 month away from turning 100. Let's go to 7's Vanessa Medina, continuing our live team coverage also at that facility in Hollywood. Vanessa.
Well, friends and family of the victims are extremely angry. They say they placed their loved ones in this home because they were helpless and they have felt that they were leaving them in good hands. One woman spoke just a short time ago. Her mother survived the bad conditions inside this rehabilitation center, but she's still angry. She says her mom is recovering at Memorial Regional Hospital. Her name is Vendetta Craig, and let's listen to what she had to say.
Shame on you. Shame on you. I'm extremely upset. I mean, words, there are no words. It's unnecessary. You can spit on the hospital from this facility. I don't know what happened inside. I wasn't there. I hope the truth comes out. It's just senseless. We throw our elderly away. They're a cash crop. It's not necessary. That's my mother, somebody's sister, somebody's father. They're not dollar signs. And that's what I feel happens a lot when people see, oh, she can't talk, She can't tell what I'm doing. My mother, she's unable to speak due to her condition. A lot of people are unable to speak. So they take advantage.
So before Hurricane Irma hit, family members calling the facility, even coming here, asking questions as to what their plan was once the hurricane hit, if they lost power. They say they were reassured. So today they have many, many, many questions. We'll have much more at 5 o'clock. For now, reporting live in Hollywood, Vanessa Medina, 7 News.
Vanessa, thank you.
Well, the Florida Keys ravaged by Irma. Now we're seeing just how widespread that destruction is.
Yeah, let's go to 7's Brian Enton. He begins our team coverage live there in Key West. Brian?
So many of the homes on Big Pine Key are gone, and because of boats and debris in the road, they're almost impossible to get to. So residents like this group of women set up little campsites.
All that's left is tile floors. And then there's houses 2 blocks over that have those houses dropped in their front yards, covering up the entire house.
There's still no power, but AT&T cell service is coming back in limited spots. They've set up these temporary cell phone towers, and if people can drive to get close enough, they can make a call to let family know they're okay, even though their homes are not. So many houses like this one in this neighborhood on Big Pine Key are missing the second floors. And there's no one here. The neighborhoods are totally deserted. When these people come back to their homes, they're going to realize what destruction there is.
They have nothing to come to. We don't need the peoples to come because there's nothing to come to, and this is going to cause more chaoticness more than we are.
But some who rode out the storm are finally getting the help they need.
We're right here on the steps?
Yep. Thank you.
The essentials like food and water are trickling in.
Your life's a lot more important than property.
Yeah, I got some food and some water. I'm going to be okay.
Okay.
This group living on the porch of this shopping center isn't only taking care of each other, they're taking care of this key deer they found wrapped around a tree.
There's nobody else here, not for the animals. There's nobody here for the people. Of course, somebody has to help them.
They've got him eating baby carrots and drinking water. Keeping him alive is helping to keep their spirits up.
It's a really tightly bonded family now. You know, if the storm didn't happen, none of these people would have come together.
So we are seeing some small improvements today, mainly more aid, more food and water, but it is going to be a long, long time before the Keys gets back to normal. There is still almost no power. There's no water. As you saw, there's still very limited cell phone service, but there's a little bit of good news because we're told that many of the public supermarkets, including the one here in Key West, are slated to finally reopen tomorrow. Live in Key West, Brian Enton, 7 News.
Well, that is good news for them. All right, Brian. Well, boats that were wrecked by Irma are blocking the coast. And now the mission is on to reach the land that they need to get to. Team coverage continues now with 7's Andrew Scheinthal with more on the boat situation. Andrew?
It really is remarkable because there is a lot of assistance that simply cannot make it to Key West. These vessels are not able to dock anywhere near the island because of all the debris that's in the water. So behind me you have supplies that are here trying to help the people of the Keys. But unfortunately, there's a lot more help that simply just can't make it here. It's been nearly a week since Hurricane Irma came barreling through Florida, and yet relief efforts are still being hindered by the deadly storm.
It's a hazard of navigation for people traveling in and out of the Keys.
That's because the waters off the Florida Keys are like a minefield. Sailboats, docks, and other large debris lurking beneath the surface, preventing ships, small and large, from delivering supplies like food and water that's so desperately needed.
Well, I mean, obviously you can see there's plenty of sailboats here. A lot of them protruding out of the water.
This is just one example of the problem the military has. It's hard to make out, but at the end of this boat ramp is a sunken sailboat, a casualty of Irma, and that alone is preventing supplies from getting in.
There's no Key West without the port, so it's critical that we get this open and safe so vessels will come back in and we can start getting life back on track.
There's all kinds of debris down here at the bottom, which once they run their sonar, they'll be able to determine what exactly is down there and then go with a plan to how to get it out.
The boat right there is the small boat for the ANT team. They're the ones who are going out surveying the water and trying to find any debris that's underneath the surface.
Especially at night. If it's not lit, you're not going to be able to see it. So that's just that, it is enough power to sink a vessel.
Crews are using sonar to locate the objects that could bring down one of the Navy's vessels.
That's this right here. and that'll give us basically a live feed of the data that's being collected.
Once something is found, dive teams are sent in to assess the damage. In some cases, they'll hook up cables to the debris and pull the object out of the way. But until then, those ships with relief will sit out at sea.
We want to get this port open as fast as possible because a lot of lives really rely on it.
Now, right now, there is no timeline when they're going to be able to get all that debris out of the way because they don't know how much is out there. So right now, they're gridding it, trying to assess exactly what is on the ocean floor. And once they're able to go in and figure out what they need to remove, they say they'll have a better idea of when those supplies will be able to make it over to the Keys. Live in Key West, Andrew Scheinthal, 7 News.
The job that everybody has done is incredible.
President Donald Trump right there making a trip to South Florida stop, seeing for himself the damage on the West Coast where Irma made her staggering third landfall. Today, the commander-in-chief also served lunch to hurricane victims.
That's right. He toured the hardest hit areas there on the West Coast, and he thanked those who came out to help those in need. President Trump and the First Lady touching down in Fort Myers. They were greeted by Governor Rick Scott, Senator Marco Rubio, and FEMA Administrator Brock Long on the tarmac. After receiving a recovery briefing from FEMA and the Coast Guard officials, the president thanked first responders and local officials, including the governor, for all the hard work in the aftermath of the storm.
On behalf of myself, our Vice President, Melania really wanted to be with us. It's really touched her heart what's going on, and we've seen the devastation. We're going to see some more of it now, unfortunately, and I have to say that your governor, where is our governor here? Rick Scott. The job he's done is incredible.
Governor Scott applauding all the officials helping to restore the state that has been devastated by Hurricane Irma. But he says there's a lot more work that still needs to be done.
We have a lot of work to do. We're not done today. We're going to work hard. I know the federal government will continue to be a partner. Our locals will. Our state will. We're going to make sure we're continue to be a strong, resilient state. But I want to thank from the bottom of my heart everybody's prayers to help us get through this.
President Trump then paying a visit to Naples while touring the hard-hit neighborhoods and meeting with Irma victims. Mr. Trump acknowledged not only the strength of the storm, but also the survivors.
We love the people of Florida, and they went through something that I guess the likes of which we can really say nobody's ever seen before. They've never seen a category like this come in because it came in really at a 5. All you have to do is look at what happened in the Keys. But we love these people, and we're going to be back, and we're going to help everybody. Has been incredible. And by the way, that includes the people that live here, because you see the people immediately getting back to work to fix up their homes, like Bobby and like some of the others. So I just want to tell you, we are there for you 100%.
Afterward, the president put on a pair of gloves and helped to hand out food to Irma victims. By his side, First Lady Melania and Vice President Mike Pence also giving a helping hand. The president and First Lady took off shortly after to head back to Washington. Mr. Trump has pledged he will be back.
Ahead here on 7 News on this Thursday afternoon, the Trump administration setting the record straight, saying there are